COVID-19 cases to peak in September, King and Queen Pillar ceremony in Pattaya, and 92% of Thais earning less than what they make. All that and more coming up in today's Good Morning Thailand.
Could you please take a moment to click the like and subscribe button? It helps us way more than you know.
And as the thumbnail suggests, today's program will be in a chat format. You have been warned. Good luck to all. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Thailand. I am your host, Nadi Warisa, and I'm standing in for Jay right now. I'm not sure where he is, but that's okay because we have two other lovely gentlemen here, Greg Lang and Friso Poldervaart from Bangkok Community Help Foundation. Thank you very much for joining me in this episode, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Good morning.
Again. Good morning.
I understand this is your first time hosting by yourself?
This is the first time ever hosting by myself without another co-host, so I'm pretty excited.
Fantastic.
But you guys are pretty seasoned.
We'll always be your first then.
Yes, you will always
We're
be
honored.
my first.
We're honored.
Special. Now, we just released the Bangkok Community Health Foundation little clip yesterday. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah. Everybody go watch it. It's very good.
Yeah. So to do a little recap, we went to Onut, right? Onut 88, and it's a community that was situated on a landfill.
Right.
And it was actually, there were parts of it where it was squishy, was it? Did we go there?
Exactly.
Yeah. And they were sorting out trash. And do you guys go there often to help that specific community?
We have been there in the past. This was quite a while ago that we were there again. Yeah, but sort of we are, like we were just talking about, we're on speed dial. So
Speed dial.
if they, if they need our help or if there's anything going on, then they will call and so. But it was very nice to go back. It was very nice that you guys were there. Also to show. A lot of people told us personally, said like, wow, we have never seen that before. Like, this is really, eye opener. Like our trash goes there and there's people literally using their hands to pick that out. So I think it was a very good one to show to the people like, okay, this is really something that's going on.
Yes. I agree, because I've never seen such a, the mechanism of them spinning out the water with that huge machine thing was very eye-opening to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Were you surprised about the conditions also?
Yes. Yes and no. Like, I have seen similar conditions before, but this was definitely taking up a little bit more because the smell itself was very concerning. Knowing that they have to live there 24/7, that can't be too good for their health. So hopefully somebody will come in and.
TV is fantastic, video, but it does not you can't smell it.
No, you can't. Maybe it's a good thing for our audience right there. Right. Yes, I just wanted to also ask you a little bit. So ever since that project that we did together, I added you both on Facebook, and I noticed that you guys have been going out virtually every single day.
Right.
So maybe can you tell me about what you did last Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, sure. Every day we feed the homeless near the Democracy Monument, around 500 people.
Wow.
500 meals a day. And we also, on Saturday, had a bunch of grapes. Few of the grapes were going to be, let's say, overripe in one day or a couple of days. So there was a huge amount. I don't know if you saw that on Facebook.
No,
as
I
far
haven't.
as the grapes, a lot of grapes were given out, right? So fruit, anybody that ever has some fruit or maybe it's going to be going bad soon and they need to donate, definitely look us up because they definitely can utilize that. And one of the other things we're working on, did you notice the house that we've been working on?
Yes, actually, I have seen that,
Cool.
Yeah. That house is something that we always love because we can go back 10 years, 20 years ago from now, and you'll be able to see, wow, we changed someone's life. And there's a little boy, his name is Nong Pipe. Pipe, P-I-P-E. And this is one of the reasons we're building the house for him and his three brothers and his parents. And the condition that the house was in before, you just could never. It was actually worse than what you saw at the recycling department. You know, the landfill. It was incredible as far as the living room, because underneath the house is like a river that flows, and the neighbor had blocked off their. When they built the house, they had blocked it off. So now when the river would rise, that's going underneath the house, it would stop right at that house. And it rose so much in the living room that it was unusable. And now there was rotting mattresses, and yeah, it was terrible. And so now it'll look brand new in probably in about another 10 days.
Yeah.
So we're quite excited about that.
That's a very quick project, though, like to build something from scratch.
Yeah.
Did you have to hire an architecture, or is it a volunteer architecture or engineer who builds that?
I mean, it's like we're the engineers.
You are. Oh, wow.
Which is like,
It was on a napkin.
It's on a napkin.
Literally.
Yeah. And we're just standing there closing our eyes like, okay, it's going to be like this. And then we employ people from the community. So it's very important for us that we use local people that live in the community, so they actually also, have work, have an income by, doing this project. So we can't obviously do everything ourselves, but we try to be there and oversee. But of course, there's many skilled people in these communities that are very good with their hands, that have all the tools and machinery. So they actually do the building. But it's really quick. I mean, this is, we tore it down actually ourselves, which was really fun.
What?
We
should have called me.
Yeah.
We would have loved that.
We have many more.
We'll go on to
we
the
were
next
kicking
one.
down the house and all that stuff. Very fun. So give or take, it's a month, 2 months that we can actually, rebuild a whole house for someone,
On
for
a
a
napkin.
family.
On a napkin.
From the napkin to the actual house, where it's also like we go in, we paint, we put in beautiful floor, we put in sofa, TV, everything that's donated by people.
Right. People will donate. We'll put some word out on Facebook, and we're going to do it right now. If you have any, actually, we need a TV. TV, refrigerator, anything like this that you can use in a house. Wow, you won't believe the before and the after pictures, and you'll be part of it. So,
Okay. That sounds
contact
good.
us. Yeah.
So you can contact Greg and Friso at Bangkok Community Help Foundation,
Right.
Facebook.
On the
Okay.
Facebook.
Everywhere,
On the
Twitter,
Messenger.
Instagram,
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What else did we do? I know we did more. We did the house. We did.
We were at the fire
yeah,
department
that's right.
as well, helping them, donating fire equipment. A lot of these fire departments are, drastically under supported, meaning they don't have the suits, they don't have the equipment. Fires occur every time, every day almost, especially in slum areas, because they're very small, very dense. Once a fire breaks out, it usually ends up being a huge fire. So it's very important. We saw the Bonkai drama unfold, right?
Yep.
Where you could see that, a lot of these firefighters were wearing t-shirt, flip-flops, were not able to go into the actual fire because they don't have the breathing apparatus. A lot of people that got smoke inhaled, they actually had to go to hospital. So it's very important that we support these guys, because they are volunteers.
Right.
Put their
And they'll
life
go
on the
into
line.
the fire. They'll go into the fire just like this. So a fireman outfit is 45,000 baht. Sounds crazy, but because it's insulated up to temperatures of 1100 degrees, that's the going rate. They actually go up 60,000 or higher, with the hat and the boot and all that. So we had 3 uniforms or outfits donated by Atosha Auctions, and that saved a lot of money. And so I had no idea when we went out to find the new ones. It was sticker shock. What it's going to cost to, because there's another department that has no equipment whatsoever. We can get the water pump and all that, but we found out that the uniform itself is 45,000. So if anybody wants to donate a uniform, please. It's something, because they're warriors. They're going out into the fire.
Yes.
With
Fearless.
nothing on.
Fearless.
Right.
Yeah.
And then some people say, well, why doesn't the government give them the uniforms and the tools? Well, that's just the system it is. We can't fight the system. We can only say, hey, this is where there's a need. So
Right.
the volunteer fire departments are very, very important in Bangkok. especially in the slums.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm very happy that you two are helping out with the areas where we're underlooked, I guess, like
Yeah.
Right.
have been overlooked by the government for so long. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have organizations like you guys helping out the community. So thank you on
Right.
behalf of the other departments
Thanks.
as well.
And it's because of people like your listeners that donate.
Yes.
You know,
thank
like
you.
That's why, yeah.
there was 15,000 baht that was donated that we utilized for the survivor bags that we gave to the 300 people there.
Yes.
You know, so it helps a lot. You know, so thank you.
Thank you.
Every
everybody.
little
Yeah.
bot helps.
Yeah,
Thank you
absolutely.
very much, viewers. Okay, now let's get on to our first piece of news today. We do have to talk a little bit about the news.
Sure.
For our listeners here, if you want to skip, we also have timestamps, so you can skip to any news that you want to hear. The first one is about officials saying that Thailand's COVID-19 cases will peak in September. Now, Thai officials announced recently that the number of COVID-19 cases in the country is expected to start rising next week. The CCSA said that in September, the number is expected to hit the peak, and if we wear masks and avoid social gathering, the numbers should decrease by November. That's their prediction anyways. Now, to keep the situation under control, the CCSA says that the hospital admissions should only accommodate patients in serious conditions, and it needs to be less than 25% of hospital beds, and the daily death count must be kept at fewer than 40. I'm not sure how you can tell people, okay, you're 41, stop, you can't drop dead anymore. Not sure how they're going to monitor that. But last week, a doctor at Siriraj Hospital claimed that the COVID situation in Thailand is becoming more serious, and he said that cases had reached 50,000 the week before. Now, even though there are claims of the cases of COVID-19 being in the country only averaging around 2,000 to 3,000, the Deputy Minister of Health actually says that that's a false number. There's actually more infections than that. It's more likely to be 20,000 to 30,000 cases per day. Now, I'm not sure about you, Greg and Friso. Like, are you afraid of people contracting COVID more and more? Are you going to get your third booster shot? What's your opinions on this?
Well, we're already on our fourth.
Your fourth
We
one
did
now?
our fourth one, yeah.
Right.
We did that in January.
Right.
Our third would have been last September, right? So, and we'll probably be doing a top-up next month,
Okay.
our fifth. We're out in the public, but we've never gotten COVID. A lot of people around us in the field that had worked with us did, but we're a strong believer in it. And not to say that it won't stop us not getting COVID, but it helps definitely as far as how severely sick you'll get. So we strongly believe in it. Right? But to answer the question as far as the Omicron 5, it's a superpower. In other words, it just multiplies very, very fast. It's very easy to get it. It's not immune resistant, right? And they even have a couple other new ones that are coming out. There's one in Germany called Bad Ned.
Bad Ned?
Yeah, Bad Ned. That it's like 24% of the people have it now. And then there's another one that just came out in the United States, and there's another 10 countries called Cytochrome. And so there's always going to be these variants on variants, you know, and it's very similar to the C word, how they
Yes. A good callback.
The different names, when I saw Bad Ned, I was like, wow, that sounds interesting.
Sounds like it just came out on Netflix.
Oh boy.
And so, it's going to continue. I mean, this the Omicron 5 is basically 4 times more transmissible than any other variant, right? So
yes, that's what I heard as well.
Yeah, but I think the government in this case is actually right, because I mean, we've been saying this for a long time actually. It doesn't matter, you shouldn't count the cases per se, right? It's about how many people do go to hospital and how many people die. And actually they're right? Because they're putting a cap on these kind of numbers. Right. Because if people get sick, they will get sick, but if it's not as drastic as they need to go to hospital to get treatment, which means hospitals do not overflow, we should be able to continue the life the way it is right now.
Yes.
Because the country is open, the economy is kind of starting up again. we cannot go back.
No, we
it's
can't.
impossible. The
Yes.
only reason, valid reason to go back is when hospitals are full,
Right.
which happened last year, and which, people were dying in their homes, literally because, COVID went into the lungs, they couldn't breathe, all this kind of stuff. That should never happen again. But as long as that doesn't happen, I don't think there's any other valid reason to go back. So
The body's getting
Yeah,
smarter.
right.
You know, our bodies adapt, and so the symptoms is basically a sore throat and sneezing, and that's basically it. You know, the symptoms of a cold. And yes, there are serious cases, and if someone didn't get vaccine in Hong Kong, you saw there was a lot of 65-year-old men, and that there was a high number of deaths in Hong Kong in March or April, but by and large, it's a lot less as far as severe. You know, the virus, when it mutates, it either has to choose to be where everybody gets it, or that it's goes into the lungs, that it's more severe. And it's not the end of the world, because a lot of people are getting the Omicron. They're getting it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. We had cases where, before with Delta, it would take around 4 months or so for you to get reinfected. And now reinfection can happen in 2 or 3 weeks. And
Oh, no.
so we had cases, we worked a lot, or I did, with a lot of tourists. When they were coming into Thailand, they were testing negative, and they had a recovery letter because they had COVID before. And so we dealt with many, many cases where they said, how could I possibly have COVID again? I just had it a month ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
And definitely you could see where they had it, and then they tested negative, and then they came and they were testing positive again. And yes, there was a lot of cases where it was dead cells, but there was a number of cases where they actually, the CT level, that's basically how many cycles that the machine finds the COVID, and it would be a very, very low number, which means that definitely it was red hot, right? And that they had been reinfected. And so when the government was saying, you should not be reinfected for 4 months, I knew that was not the case. We had cases of 15 days, 17 days, 19 days where people had gotten COVID before, and now they had been reinfected. So it's now coming out in the news. I saw that a couple days ago in Australia. They were saying, oh, this Omicron is, you can be reinfected in 3 or 4 weeks. Well, I already knew that definitely was the case. So it's just like a cold, a lot of people are not, if you're a cold, that doesn't mean you stay home, and I think that's eventually the way it's going to go.
Yeah,
Right.
I think the main thing is to keep your body like always healthy, eat the right things, like tacos is a good one.
There you go.
Very good.
Yeah. All right. We'll be taking a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about raising the king and queen pillar ceremony and how 92% of Thais claim that they're earning less than their calculated expenses. We'll be discussing all of that when we come back. Your next destination is only a click away. Fly Thai Vietjet. Welcome back, and thank you very much for being with us. Now, obviously, we are sponsored by Vietjet, and I just want to give a quick shout out to Thai Vietjet. Thank you very much for being our sponsor. For those of you who want to travel domestically in July, we actually have a 477 baht per trip. If you book it on Thai Vietjet. Also, if you're planning to travel internationally next year, do go to their website. They have a great promotion, 1,777 baht per trip. I saw that you can go to Singapore, Phnom Penh. That's a pretty good deal.
Any destination. That's
Yes.
excellent.
Yeah, I
So
like
maybe Bangkok Community Health Foundation can go and help people in Phnom Penh. Or
Yeah.
with that price, it's
No, there's
pretty
a lot
good.
of help needed there as well. Yeah.
Yes. Also, I want to give a quick shout out. Also, I just saw some people donating. I think it's because of what we're chatting. And thank you so much for.
Thank you.
Yes. So Scott D says, continued great work with $20. We
Thanks.
have also travel fund with $50. Wow. This
Fantastic.
this is fantastic. Travel fund says, this is what I love hearing. Thank all. Gotta start somewhere. Help others that need it. Kindness over everything. Thank you
Yes.
very much. And also another generous donation from Eileen Morris Duke, another $50. Wow, we have a lot of donors today. Thank you very
you.
much.
Thanks.
Yes.
Excellent.
We
guys.
will definitely be sharing these donations with Bangkok Community Health Foundation in the future for sure. Okay, now let's go on to our second news. It's the Raising King and Queen Pillar ceremony near Lieb Tang Rodfai Road in Pattaya. Now, last Friday morning, July 8th, a traditional Thai ceremony took place near the Lieb Tang Rodfai in Pattaya to celebrate the rise of 8 pillars of a new Eastern Economic Corridor Development Project, or EEC, where 5 luxury villas and a hotel are scheduled to be constructed. Now, the architect responsible, celebrity engineer Mario Clef, who is known for his unusual designs in the field of architecture and construction, and his construction company 1D Group Asia, prepared the construction site for the celebration of the concrete pouring of the King and Queen pillars. Now, the raising of the King and Queen pillar ceremony was blessed by 9 Buddhist monks from the Royal Buddhist Temple, Wat Yanasang Wararam in Pattaya. It's a pretty famous temple there. And viewers, if you're completely unsure what is the significance of this ceremony within the Thai construction culture, it's this. So in the Thai traditional meaning, the king, which is called Sao Ek, and the queen, which is called Sao To, pillars are the focal points of the foundation that form and carry a new building. Usually these ceremonies will be held with monks for special projects that the owners or government especially wishes to celebrate. So it's a huge ceremony where there's actually chanting, there's people who bring in orchids, bring lots of, how do you call it, like gloy. You know Thai, right? Like how do you call it? Bananas. But there's like tons of very, very Thai traditional things. And with this project near Lieb Tang Rodfai, Mario, the engineer, said that he is setting a new standard within the local construction industry because the foundations of the building are built with heavily post-tension, high-strength marine concrete. I have no idea what those are, but he said it is a procedure that has not yet been initiated in the residential construction in Thailand. And a huge plus about this construction method is that it can be constructed in 4 months period, which is quite impressive, especially for something big. Yeah, I was about to link it back to you because he seems to be knowing his stuff very well.
I wonder if they can work on a napkin.
Probably a very fancy napkin. Yes. But if you listen to that story, you would hear there's a lot of numbers going on because Thais just love superstition, and we have a lot of superstitions surrounding numbers. So they had to erect 8 pillars. That's why they held it on the 8th of July. Also, they brought in 9 monks because in Thai, the number 9 is considered to be an auspicious number. Just kind of similar to how number 7, is it, in America?
Yes,
that,
right.
yeah.
Exactly.
So that is that. Do you guys know any other Thai superstitions at all? Maybe you start with Friso.
Well, there's so many, right?
Yes.
Don't cut your hair on Wednesday.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Is
you
there
know it.
one? Don't, I think like when you bend over and you watch like through your legs,
Oh, yeah, okay.
right? You see
Yes.
like that, you would see a ghost,
Yes.
right? Recently I saw when you see like a tua hia, like can you
Oh,
say
yeah.
that? Can
Yes,
say
yes,
that?
yes.
Yeah. You have to hit your wallet.
I've never heard of that before. That's a
because
new
it's
one.
like tua ngan,
Oh, tua ngan, tua thong.
yeah.
So
So
just
that's one.
Yes. So just in case the viewers are not familiar, Tua Hia or Tongan Totong is the Komodo dragon, which you
yeah,
can see
Komodo dragon, yeah.
in Lumpini,
In the
and
park.
the colloquial word for it is Tongan Totong. Ngan means money, so you want to like touch your wallet, I guess.
Touch your wallet,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's also many with collars, right? People
Collars.
wearing certain collars on certain days.
Yes.
I saw a car that was black, had a sticker that said "Rotคันนี้สีฟ้า."
Yeah.
It's like this car is blue.
Yes.
So it's a black or a white car, which the owner of the car the lucky color of the car would have been blue for that person, right? But they have
Yes.
another color, so that's why they put the sticker. So yeah, I think they're very funny and very interesting, you know. I mean,
Have you ever been cheeky? Like, I know Thais say Wednesday I shouldn't cut my hair, but let me try cutting my hair and see what that happens.
It has happened, yeah.
Yeah.
It has happened.
Anything bad?
Because it's like, no,
No, okay, good.
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
I don't think so.
Right. What about you, Greg? Do you know a couple?
Don't sing in the kitchen,
Yes.
or you'll marry an old man. And I guess the reason they did that was because they want you to concentrate in the kitchen, yet you don't cut yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would be something else? You have so many of them.
We
right?
have way too
there's
many.
Always something happening.
Well, what's interesting, yeah, it's kind of the meaning is always pretty simply explained. No? It's always
Like don't sweep at night. You know
That one, yes. Yeah.
And that's probably because because of the dim light, and you might put something under the sofa, if you sweep it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons, I guess, behind it that they came up with these superstitions.
I love Thai superstitions.
Yeah, I love it too.
They're always so
interesting,
fun.
Yeah, they're interesting.
All right, we're moving on to our next news. And this one is a poll showing that 92% of Thais are spending more than what they are earning. Now, the poll was conducted by NIDA, the National Institute of Development Administration, that revealed the majority of people were earning less money than their monthly expenses, with most 93% of people saying that they earn less than their expenses, or breaking even at the very least. So they actually called via telephone call 1,312 respondents, and they asked only 2 questions. The first question was, what expense has affected you the most in the current economic situation? And the second one, how do your monthly expenses compare to your monthly income? So I have a little quiz for Greg and Friso here.
Wow.
So do you want to guess what is costing us most right now? Or what is the number one factor that has the greatest effect on our daily lives between electricity, daily food, oil prices, or the C word?
Well,
Gas prices is what I would think.
I go for food.
Okay, so Greg, for oil prices, gas
Oil
prices,
prices because that affects everything. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then you said food. Is it because you're hungry right now?
Well, yeah, no.
Okay, so the
Oh, you're
reveal.
cheating. You're looking.
No, I haven't seen. I
No,
haven't seen.
I purposely slowly
Oh,
come
okay,
up. So Greg is right. So 32.73% said oil prices are the number one factor, followed by daily food. So you're not too wrong. Very closely followed by 26% basically, and then electricity, cooking gas, car installments, and I was quite actually surprised that the house rentals are only 1.79 because I thought in Bangkok the house of pricings were quite high, but I guess if you're living in a community where they don't really have rent, then you don't have costs there. And like I said, only 7% said that they had more income than expenses and they're doing just fine. And these people are showing off a little bit. They're high sewing. I know that you guys are working a lot with the community and they need help. And they're obviously earning a lot less than what they're spending. In your opinion, if you didn't come in to help, how would they be able to survive? Are the government coming in and helping at all in any capacity?
Well, the government spent a lot of money last year, last couple of years actually, and so I think that they're toning back down on the programs, as far as any stimulus right now. There might be something coming up as far as on travel and that, but I understand the situation that they're in, and now because of inflation, everything's going up, right? And so it's a double-edged sword, right? With prices going up, if all of a sudden you increase the minimum wage, then you got inflation on wages, right? And when does it end? And then the other problem is then the factories would move away, right? Or they
Yes.
won't invest in Thailand. So, it's not an easy solution, that's for sure. But yes, do people need more help? Absolutely, right? And it's because of generous people. That's the only way that we're able to do it, right? But as far as the solution, wow, I really
tough.
don't know. It's tough. It's really tough.
Even with the small solutions like feeding the homeless, I know that you were talking about this earlier when the cameras are off, that you're feeding a certain group of homeless people near a Victory Monument, did you say?
Yes.
And
Democracy Monument.
Democracy Monument, and you guys have been asked to kindly move away because there's children involved. Can you talk a little bit more about that project a little bit?
Yeah, so it's the Radhamnan Avenue, like the Democracy Monument, where there's a big concentration of homeless that are either living there or they're living under the bridge. And they are there mainly because they know this has been a hotspot for quite some years where people come actually donate food or necessities. So a lot of people come there, and the argument of the government is now that, okay, if you keep that sort of ecosystem intact where people stay there, you bring food, that doesn't stimulate them to maybe, go and get a job or whatever. But it's obviously very short-sighted because what we see is a lot of old people there that just have no chance. I mean, they will not get a job.
80 to 90% of the people are over 55, 60 years old. And in Thailand, it's...
Oops.
There we go.
Angry, come on, let's do
making
it.
my point. Well, if you're 55 or 60 and someone's knocking on the door looking for a job, are they going to be able to be hired, right?
Yeah.
Most corporations would not, right? So it's easy for them to go get a job, right?
Yes.
Reality is no.
It's very hard, like sometimes even on a Seoul itself, I see young people, and when I say young, relatively young, I would say like 30s, 40s maybe, but they're still capable. They still have all their limbs intact. And the argument would probably be like, why don't you go get a job? But it's a vicious cycle. Like if they don't look a certain way, I guess like nobody's going to hire them, and then, and then the loop continues. Like
don't
it's very
see that
hard.
really near...
Not that much, but it's exactly it's very hard to distinguish who is who, right? I mean, in the last 2 years, we handed out over 1 million meals. Some of these people might have been able to buy them themselves. Some people might have, and we know that for a fact because many of these people would not have food if we would not come there. And we would reach deep into communities. We would reach elderly that couldn't even stand up from the bed. I mean, they couldn't even walk. So if nobody goes there, they starve. I mean, literally, right? So it's very hard to distinguish. The good thing is that if someone gets a meal, they keep the money in their pocket, right? So even if it's someone that has a little bit of money, has no money, at least they're helped that way. So it's very hard to say, okay, it's almost like who deserves what, right? I mean, everybody deserves to eat, right? And we cannot distinguish who can buy it or not. So, so is it something that we will keep doing? Yeah, we will keep doing it. They actually didn't necessarily told us to not do it. They just told us to move it somewhere else,
right?
Because they're worried about the students.
Well, actually, it's not even the government yet. It's the school nearby that felt that the older people will become violent or dangerous. But we found them very, very polite. They stand in line. They say why. They thank, and they're very, very kind. And so it's actually opposite of what this particular school is saying. But they said that they have written to the governor. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we'll work with the governor.
We'll do whatever they say.
Really, you're gonna work with Kun Chat?
Yes.
We'd like to.
Can we come with you?
Right,
I would
yeah,
love
of
to
course.
meet him. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
Now you guys know my political stance. All right.
Nice.
Okay, now we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be hearing from the voice of God and taking some of your questions as well. So we'll be back right after this. Welcome back, and this program is sponsored by the British International School Phuket. So if you have a child or know somebody who has a child who is gifted in arts, sports, or academically, you can go to their website and fill in a scholarship because they have that for BISP in Phuket as well. Also, they have programs all the way from nursery, from 2 years old, all the way up to high school to 18 years old. So once you send your kids there, you're set for life. You don't have to move them anywhere. Anyways, if you have any more questions, go to worldwideweb.bisphuket.ac.th and find more about that there. All right. Okay. Enter the chat. Voice of God.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm used to my new entrance. It's weird. But for Jay, I will change my entrance. But yes, before we get on to the comments about the topics you discussed today, we'd like to welcome Henry Kim to the Thaiger Cup. He's the one that joined you guys in the recent charity work.
yeah, that's the guy.
Hi, Henry.
Hi,
Join
Henry.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he will. But
Awesome.
anyways,
Yeah.
we received a lot of donations. I think you already addressed some of them, but for everyone I'll address. It's Eileen, PG Santa, Travel Fund, Scott D, Healthy Water Innovations, and Poco Loco.
Wow.
And
Well,
they all
Poco
donated.
Loco, $200. Thank you very much.
Thank
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Yes.
much. We'll be putting that money to good use.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we had a comment from Travel Fun. I remember when we talked about the charity work that we recently did. Thank you for all of what you have done and the work you are putting into brightening up the future for the unfortunate. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, can I interject really quickly?
Yeah.
When you were talking about the grapes and all of that, like that's a really good initiative. Did you go to a specific supermarket to get the grapes or?
No, what happens is usually, like we've had apples, there's wholesalers that have extra apples, or sometimes it's like a premium apple, like Envy, right? And they're adamant, they says, I want to have it where it's given within 45 minutes because it's a perfect apple when it's like this, you know. So these are apps, I want the homeless or the people that you give it to be treated like a king for the
Oh,
day.
that's so
right?
nice. Yeah.
And so they were adamant. Now make sure it's not out of that refrigerator more than 45 minutes. And I thought that was fantastic. And the
Yes.
apple cost 100 baht.
Wow.
It is a super apple, right?
Beautiful apple.
And so we've had situations like that, or we've had the figs. You know,
Figs, I
yeah,
love
where
figs.
someone
Okay,
donated
Yeah.
fig, yeah.
Yeah.
But typically it's apples that we get, you know,
Yeah.
and so it's or there's people that are in the
vegetables
community,
at
you know,
some
vegetables,
point,
right?
yeah.
There are people in the community that go out and buy as well. But no, we don't have any relationship. Actually, I know the villa owner. He just called me
that's
earlier.
asking.
Every time I seem to be with Friso, which is almost every day, he always just call, hey, how are you doing, right? So maybe we should go to that meeting and ask him for
Right.
Yeah.
some apples or whatever.
Like
But-
anything that's about to like
Right.
it's still
Exactly.
edible, but
Yes.
yeah, it might not look beautiful to the consumers that you
Yeah.
know like
And I put that on Twitter as far
Uh-huh.
as you know, a grape is a hope fruit, because the reason why is when you have a couple bad grapes, just go on to the next one.
Yes.
You know, because there's always, not all of them are going to be bad. There's going to be a couple, right? And there's others that are perfect. But if you have a bad apple, you know, it's bad on one side, you know. So grapes are perfect, you know.
that's a hope
That
fruit.
was
And it was huge because people
It was a huge
really
amount,
loved it.
yeah.
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 They were so happy.
So,
and-
so people, you know, we don't really have a lot of time to go out and solicit. We're not like that. Well, we solicit like this. Say please.
Please.
But we don't write emails or anything like that. So yes, please. Anybody that you know, contact them and tell them, hey,
yeah.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is the way to help out.
I would say that grapes are not very easily grown in Thailand as well, so that must have been a treat for them. Like,
Yeah.
wow, so much grapes.
It really was. Yeah. The
Oh yeah,
smiles
and you
were
know,
just endless.
we had the other Thai, the Thai fruit.
Ah, yeah. Hey, lamyai.
Lamyai. I like
Which was
lamyai.
also like everybody was like, wow,
They love it.
crazy.
They
Yeah,
love
they
it.
love it
Yeah.
so much.
Right.
So,
And
yeah.
we've had mangosteen.
Love those.
We had one time 5 ton of them.
Yeah, dragon
5
fruit,
tons.
Yeah.
5
Whoa.
tons donated, yeah.
Wow.
That truck came from far too.
Yeah.
Drove
Wow.
2
Yeah,
days
yeah.
or something. Yeah. But it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
so Thai
this kind of
farmers,
stuff.
if you're watching this,
Yeah.
Anything, literally anything. Yeah,
Anything.
I mean, it's just, we you know, if you have something, we will always find someone to give it to. It really doesn't matter what it is. Almost, I mean, you know, it can be clothes, furniture, fruits, food, everything. Because we have such a vast amount of people that we know that need help. So we can always, so nothing is too weird to think about. If it's big stuff, we come and pick it up even. So it's very easy. Just contact us. Let us know what you have.
I might have a fridge for you guys.
There we
But
go.
I'll
Very good.
talk to you guys after.
Very good.
All right. Voice
Yes.
of God, continue,
Yes,
please.
there is more. So you guys were talking about superstitions, right? I don't know if you know this one, Natty, but text symbol said, I was with a girl and she got angry because I looked at the full moon, said it's bad luck. Do you guys have that here in Thailand?
Looking at the full moon, I think is fine, but we're not supposed to point with one finger to the
really?
full moon.
Why?
You can do this, but you can't go like that.
Oh,
You
Same
can
with the
point-
rainbow, right?
Yeah,
You're saying
rainbow.
the rainbow. You can't point at a rainbow because your finger will cut off. Or something.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no,
I've never
I did
heard of
that
that
a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
The reason why, from what I understand, why they came up with that is because they don't want the kid to get out in the rain, right? Rainbow happens after,
Well,
the rain,
there's
right?
always a justification for these
Very
superstitions.
simple justification,
This is
yeah.
so cool. We should list it out and like on the other side, like why do you think that
Right,
happened?
right.
Like that would be a fun activity.
Are
Yeah.
there justifications for Thai superstitions? Because they all sound crazy, a little bit like crazy. The
A little bit
superstitions,
crazy.
yeah. Some of the scary ones, especially. But yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any justifications for the Thai superstitions?
I don't know. I feel like Greg has them
they
all
are,
down.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But
Greg
some of them
knows a
just
lot.
doesn't make sense. Like for example, not cutting your hair on Wednesday. What is the justification
So
of that?
that was
Okay, he knows.
Get the research.
back in the days. The royal family would get their hair cut on Wednesdays, and so normal peasants were not allowed to cut their hair.
Okay, good information.
See?
Man, he's more Thai than I am. Right. Also, there's another superstition that I kind of like personally.
Yeah.
If the lizards go tuk, 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 you can't leave the house. That I don't know what it is. Like if it makes noises like tuk, 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 or something like that, you just like have to stay. Yeah, tuk.
Because they warn you, like
Yeah, they're warning you.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Especially up country, if you have like 6 of them in your house.
Oh
you
gosh,
you can't leave.
you're forever
think you
bound
could ever
there.
leave.
You can't leave, yeah.
Right. Are there any more, Carmel?
Yes, there were a few comments on the topic about 92% of Thais earning less than what they spend. Mark Lynn said that during COVID, my girlfriend was spending more than she made. Her business shut down 2 months after she bought her car.
Ooh, that's tough, man.
Wow,
Bad
yeah.
luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True Blue Thai said, I bought a small durian yesterday. It was over 400 baht. It's not a cheap fruit.
It's not a cheap fruit, but can I expose something? You know, when I went to Surathani, and if you guys haven't watched the Surathani clip, I'm gonna leave it at the end of this episode, so you guys can watch a little snippet highlight teaser there. But we were at the 100-year-old farm in Surathani, and the girl kind of told us that before this they had over 1,000 trees there. But nowadays, there's only 9 more trees left. And I was like, why? Why is there only 9 more trees? Because obviously you can make a lot of profit with those durians. And she said that when the middle people come and buy it for the supermarkets, they pay them only 19 baht per durian. I'm like, that's very cheap because
wow.
they actually pay like 400 baht, like
Right,
Carmel said,
exactly.
or
They pay a
500 baht even. So they're really cutting, like they're really trying to press them to pay them less. So they're like, okay, well maybe they'll just turn these durian trees into rubber trees instead then, because they make more money selling rubber.
Wow.
So it's really unfortunate that those 100-year-old trees are just cut down because they
Wow.
couldn't make any money.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No.
Because 400 actually might be cheap on a durian. I've seen them much, much higher.
Yes, in Paragon or any upscale department
It's
store.
1,000
Yeah.
baht. Easy.
Yes. So
1,200.
I felt really bad for them because they've been cheated.
19 baht.
19 baht only. But according to them, that was like 10 years ago. I'm not sure how much they can sell the durians now. Might be a little bit more, but I can't imagine it
yeah.
being up to 100 still, though. So
Oh, it has to be.
I hope so.
If the
I really
spread
hope
is
so.
only on that side, it would be almost criminal, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. But okay, we'll move on.
I mean, that's
Let's
a huge,
find out.
Nah,
Yeah, it would
that
be
just
interesting
sounds
to
almost
see.
impossible.
Yeah, I purposely cut it out from the Surathani clip, so anybody who watched this episode till this time knows that little history about that durian farm.
Nice.
All right.
But I mean, I believe as far as 19 baht, but for them to, that's a humongous difference.
Yeah, that's too big.
Too much.
Yeah, that's why they had to put in rubber plants. And the farm doesn't look as vibrant. Obviously, rubber plants are rubber plants, right? Then they have like these cuts in it. Looks a little bit sad. All right.
Tony the Tiger said that farmers can sell it directly to Lazada.
Yeah, if they knew how to use, if they were literate in digital, right? Somebody needs to go back.
There, I guess.
Yeah. Good point, though. Good point.
It's nice.
Okay, so we didn't get to address the survey that I posted on Friday, so I'm gonna address it now.
Okay.
No, it's okay. But then this is something that Frizo and Greg could also chime into. So, Chai, can you show the survey? So the Casino Committee of Thailand launched a survey in a number of areas identified as possible locations for a casino in Thailand. Results showed that 80% of participants agreed that the kingdom should open a legal casino complex. Now, when I asked people what are their thoughts on opening a legal casino complex in Thailand, 28% said that they are in favor of it. 21% said they are not in favor of it because regulating will be difficult. And 51% said that it doesn't bother them because they won't ever go to a casino. But what about you three? What do you guys think?
Let's start with Greg.
I think that it's underground now, and they may as well have it. I mean, it's in the neighbors have it, and why not? You know, and then they can govern it, and I think it's good.
Put tax on it even and make money legally this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I think the same. Yeah, I think the same. I think it's also a huge attraction for Southeast Asian countries, China, Japan, to actually be able to come and gamble legally in Thailand. I think would be a huge flow of income only from that. And yeah, it is. I mean, casinos are. I think you even have a casino here on Asok, so it's not it's not something that doesn't exist, right? So bring it.
What are you talking about, Friso? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Bring it above ground. Of course, I
There's
mean.
a casino near here?
Oh no, you're in the hot seat.
Really?
Oh, that's so. Yeah, that's so. Bring it above ground. Of course, I mean, it will always be dangerous to some people that are prone to. Gambling addictions, all these kind of things, which destroys livelihoods also today. I mean, underground, above ground. But above ground, you will at least be able to somehow monitor what's going on, right? You will know who's coming in, who's, winning what, who's losing what, who's paying tax on what. So I guess, the lesser of two evils would be to have it in the open and then have that whole stream Chinese, Hong Kong, come in here and spend their money.
Yeah, bring us money.
We need it because, high economy, we need to go, huh?
Yeah. I think Thailand is making a lot of progressive strides in terms of like equal marriage now in the works. C word being a little bit in the gray area, but we're making progress towards that. And now we're in talks about casinos. So hopefully, I don't know, I feel like Thailand is now one of the first Southeast Asian nations to really make big strides, more than most First Nations in Southeast Asia even. So that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. Right?
There were comments on this survey actually that people were suggesting that if it does get legalized, then only foreigners should be allowed to, enter the casinos and do what they want.
Well, in Singapore, they charge a certain amount. What was it, 100 Singapore dollars or something if you're a Singaporean?
Yeah. Yeah, Singapore, if you show your passport, then you can enter.
No, but you have
free,
to still.
Right?
No, Singaporeans have to pay.
Yeah, I think
but
it's
if you show
100.
your passport as a foreigner, though.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, as a foreigner. Okay.
Yeah, that's a way of doing it.
Right.
But then then probably a lot of Thai people will probably skip it and still go. This is the issue,
I
right?
have mixed feelings about charging a local.
Yeah.
Would that
Go
mean
away with dual pricing.
Yeah, I was just about to say, is this racism against our own people? What is going on? All right.
That is all I got today.
Okay. Well, we have hit the 50-minute mark. Wow, we did well today, guys.
Nice.
Thank you very much, everybody, for your donations. We're definitely going to be sharing this with the Bangkok Community Help Foundation in the future. Hopefully, near future.
Yeah.
And thank you again, Kun Greg and Kun Friso, for joining me in my first ever hosted episode. You guys
You
are my
did
first.
amazing, honestly.
Very
Oh,
good.
of course. No, just joking. All right. Thank you, everybody. And don't forget to watch until the end. I'll put the teaser of the Surat Thani trip too for you guys to see. And I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully with Jay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Super cute as well. And look at the little spoon that came with it.
So simple, but it's just such a great experience. I don't mess with no snake. We go through the pain and suffer later.
Wow.
Surat Thani, it's where the fun begins! Woo!